This Premier League Week 9 Picks edition, Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has just added Pick'em Scorchers, where you can win 100x. That's right, turn $5 into $500 in one game. Plus, every Sunday, they're giving away $100,000. Use the promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Last-minute tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. We're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. And finally, the $3,000 NFL Second Chance Survivor Contest presented by Corey Pinkston and Bargain Dog Properties. Free to enter. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Wednesday, the 18th of October, and thank the Lord, the Premier League is back. We've got Week 9 picks coming up this weekend. Joining me, as always, a bit more sober than he was on Sunday when we last spoke to him, Mr. Barry Penaluna. Hello, Baz. How are you?
Evening, Malcolm. How are we doing?
No, you sound better, mate. You sound a lot better.
Much better. I was all right by Sunday evening, to be fair. Doesn't take me long to get over a hangover, Malcolm, unlike you.
Yeah. Have you stopped whiteying all over the place?
That just happened for a 10-minute spell on the Sunday morning, didn't it? That was over and done with very, very, very quickly. That was done and dusted. I don't drag these things out, Malcolm. Just get it up, get it out, and move on.
Get it done and over with. Fair enough. Yeah. Good. Pleased the Prem back, though. It feels like a long time, Barry. Was it
feels like a very long time.
Only 2 Saturdays. We did some international rubbish this week. Some things won, some things didn't. Some things got abandoned. I had the Netherlands. Slovenia won, but couldn't get up the ladder. Venezuela won. Cart Horse was back. Thought his days of darkening the podcast doors had gone, but he was back missing a penalty for us the other night. I didn't even realise that until the day after. Then luckily Virgil slotted one in.
Fortunately, Van Dijk got that penalty, didn't he, and saved us.
Yeah, but that was about it, really. Venezuela was probably the pick of the week, though, Baz.
Yeah, I put Venezuela out, although I did go for... I was hoping for a closer, smaller, low-scoring game. 1-0 with about 15 minutes to go was looking like the absolute dream pick.
It's a red card, wasn't there? Red card for Chile.
Yeah, but Venezuela 17-10 plus 170 was a good shout. Won it easily in the end, but as I say, I would have rather they'd won less easy because I was on the 1-0 at a good price.
I still didn't watch the first half of that Ecuador-Colombia game. I gave the overs out in, and I was properly chinned, Baz. Like Caicedo at the bar after 12 minutes. Who was it? Somebody hit the inside of the post, and you need the first goal in them. First goal opens up all host of possibilities. But yeah, the inside of the post, Ecuador missed loads of chances, and then I went to bed at like 1:30 in the morning, and I was pretty much toast after that. But yeah, I'm delighted to see the Prem back. I haven't been very good, Baz, for 2 or 3 weeks in the Prem. Not terrible. Dragged myself out of the shit with a 1-1 a few weeks ago, and then came back. But I've been playing from behind the whole time. That's what I need to stop, Baz. I can't start 0-4 and then trying to claw my way back to 0. I need to get ahead. So that's the plan this week.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of games here where the pick just jumped out at me straight away. No thoughts required, just bang, easy. A couple of really difficult ones, and the rest are ones who I feel fairly comfortable with. So yeah, as you say, it does feel like a long time. Looking forward to having it back this weekend. I thought at the top of the show, Malcolm, I'll do my usual shout out to those super fans.
Is this a listener of the week shout out?
Listener of the week this week is Adam from Canada, hockey fan from Canada, who's left us some lovely words along with his 5-star review. He's been converted to soccer, as he calls it, since listening to the show. He says he loves the hilarious banter and winning picks. So I assume it's about my picks and not yours.
My banter and your picks, bud.
My banter and picks, probably both, I would imagine. So well done, Adam. 5-star review and some lovely words. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. I realised I also forgot to shout out 2 people last week, Joe Dollar and Cam, who also left us 5-star reviews on Apple last week. Well played, gents. Really is appreciated. Doing well with the old reviews at the moment. And as I say, it does make a difference. It does. We do appreciate it, and it does get seen by the bosses, so it's always good. Keep them coming if you're on Apple in particular, because you can put a few words. But if not, Spotify, drop us a 5-star on there. YouTube, just make sure you're subscribed or give us a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. It all helps us, and it's greatly appreciated. So well played, those who have done that.
I've got some early lifestyle news, Baz, if you want to get involved with this after the great Frog episode from Sunday night.
You're still not over that. I still can't believe it. The first thing I did was went and showed the YouTube video back to the kids and the missus, and they were absolutely astonished as well. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Right, so people might empathise with this or not. Right, I'm going to caveat this by saying, Baz, this is in no way, I'm not casting aspersions on the IT department's housekeeping. Right, let's get that out of the way. However, this is quite good, Baz. There's a bean in the microwave, right? One bean, and it's obviously gone overboard from an episode of Warming Beans Up, but it's been there, pardon the pun, probably about a week now. So it's obviously like it's gone overboard. There's a lot of beans on toast goes on here. There's a lot of beans go on like freezer teas, like waffles, chicken nuggets and beans, that sort of shite. So there's a lot of bean action happens. So there's a bean come loose at one point, but it's still there. Now, I noticed it, but I'd quite like to see, it's a bit like a Vietnam veteran, Baz, in there now, because the microwave gets quite a lot of action in this house. Even just today, for example, I had tomato soup for my lunch. I put a bit of chili oil, Baz, and some cheddar cheese on. It was an Arc de Triomphe. I made a toad in the hole for tea. I had tin tomatoes with it, which you might think's a bit weird. They went in the microwave. Yeah, the Ben earlier on was making chocolate pudding and custard. Custard's gone in the microwave. So there's a little microwave sort of hot water bottle thing, like a heat pack, often goes in the microwave. So the microwave gets quite a lot of use. And this one singular bean, and I mean, what's the end game for this bean, Baz? What do you think?
The end game should be the first time you noticed it, you should have picked it up and got rid of it. That's not the end game. That's the start game. Now we've gone beyond that. But you've watched it for a week. Just clean it up.
But now I want to see what happens to the bean. You want to see it now? It's like, is it going to turn into like a bullet? Is it going to explode? Is it going to disappear? Is it going to turn into a pearl? You know, like out of an oyster?
Yeah,
it must have had, I reckon, a solid 10 minutes microwave time. For one bean, that's a lot to withstand, isn't it?
It's fully dehydrated now. It'll just crumble if you picked it up, probably, I reckon.
I can get a photo of it if you want. I'll get a photo of the bean and put it in the...
You're all right. Yeah, that's fine.
I'll put it in the Discord if you're...
Put a photo of the frog, the dead frog, and your dried up bean.
If people request, I'll put a photograph of the bean in the Discord channel. Cheese toasty often gets made in the microwave. So I know it's again. You put the cheese on one bit of the toast and then just microwave it for 30 seconds so the cheese melts. And then you put the other bit of the toast on top.
Yeah, you need an air fryer, Malcolm. You need an air fryer.
Anyway, so we'll see how the bean gets on over the next couple of days. I've also, Barry, apropos of nothing, because I had some time on my hands this afternoon. I've done a quiz for you.
All right. Yeah.
So I've got 5 questions. What I might do, Baz, is throw one in after every couple of games here, and we'll see if you can get over or under. Sorry?
What's the subject?
Premier League footballers or members of Parliament.
Right.
Yeah. Pat stirred up. Pat's in the chat. That rhymes. Dead frog and bean. It sounds like a Wetherspoons pub as well, doesn't it? The Dead frog and bean. I've had a couple in there, but hello, Pat. How are you? And the Mafia will reunite. Have joined us as well, which is quite sinister. So we'll behave ourselves. Yeah. So look forward to Premier League footballers or members of Parliament after each game, Barry. So you're quite confident about this card. I am less so, but I think that's just a general confidence thing. We'll get stuck into it. Let's get a couple of these, our favourite advertisers out the way. Where are we going first? The Second Chance Survivor and the NFL Gambling Podcast Review. We like the game of Survivor, Baz. We like the game of Premier League Survivor. You've ran one, successful one for years and years. With SGPN are running one for the NFL, which is presented by Corey Pinkston and Barking Dog Properties. There's $3,000 up for grabs, winner take all. And that starts this weekend. Sign up to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. And the NFL Gambling Podcast guys, that's Moonath, etc., are doing a review contest. So leave an Apple Podcast review for them with your favourite touchdown-related bet for this weekend. And the biggest winner gets a $50 SGPN gift card. Make sure to include your YouTube username in the review so that we can contact the winner. Underdog Fantasy. Scorchers, go 5 for 5 and pick them Scorchers and enjoy a spicy 100x payout. Underdog are extending the first deposit bonus as well. That remains at $500 for a little bit longer, so get involved. You've got $100,000 Sundays and 10 lucky players winning $10,000 each. So watch along, make your picks, maybe make a little cash on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. When you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog double your first deposit up to $500. Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. Peter Harrison, evening, how you doing? Thanks for joining. There's a small boy lurking behind me, Baz, just ignore him. Saturday lunchtime, 12:30, 7:30 Eastern time. Liverpool against Everton. We kick off with a Merseyside Derby. Liverpool are 1-3, -300. The draw, first line movement report, was 9-2, was out to 5-1. Everton were 7-1 or out to plus 750. So 15-2 for Everton. Good game to start, really, in theory. Saturday lunchtime. Liverpool are in good form, particularly at home. Their last 3 home games, they scored 3 in each. Over 2.5 Liverpool goals is even money, which would fit into that. They've covered the handicap in all 3 as well. And they're even money to cover the handicap again here. So there's 2 angles in. Everton's last 3 away games. I really hope Everton don't start being half decent. That would be a real disappointment, Barry, for this Premier League season. Because one of the things we were looking forward to most is Everton being shit. And I think they still are, but they've had a couple of wins. The one against Bournemouth, I don't think counts. Because everyone, but the one against, who did they win? The one away, Brighton, maybe, was it? They got a win. Who did they beat away, Baz?
I can't remember off the top of my head. It wasn't Villa.
But I found an angle anyway, Barry. Lunchtime kick-off, traditionally a little bit of a slow burner. It's off the international break as well. We saw last time Liverpool have these players coming back from South America. Darwin Núñez, my guy, who everyone took the piss out of. Did he score twice against Brazil last night, Baz?
I think he scored one, set one up, didn't he?
Set them up anyway. He did all sorts of things. A little bit tired of the international players coming back. Everton will be organised, if not very good. And I think they'll try and stay in it. So the angle, Barry, is the second half to be the half of the most goals. That's 19-20, -105. We might maybe a Liverpool 1-0 at half time, and then they'll stretch their legs and open up, win 3-1, something like that. But I can just see the combination of the international break and the lunchtime kickoff. Hopefully, we'll see a bit of a slow burner in the first half, and it springs to life later on. So second half most goals, 19-20, -105.
What about the fact Liverpool concede in the first half every single?
Well, I left that to you, Baz. That's your angle in. I didn't want to steal it. Mafia Man's already he's on that. Liverpool to win behind.
Yeah, he might like what I've got. I mean, you mentioned the South American players coming back late. I was thinking you can guarantee whenever Klopp's got his press conference this week, he'll definitely spend 10 minutes talking about that one. He'll be furious that they've got the 12:30 kickoff when he's got the South Americans coming back late. He always likes a little whinge about that. But I mean, the first question for me, Everton 17-2. Can I make a case for them at that price? And the answer that came back was very quickly a resounding no. I'm making no case for Everton at all, even at such a big price. Liverpool, they've only picked up 1 point from the last 2 league games, but games v Spurs and Brighton, definitely more of a challenge than this Everton game. It's a derby, so sometimes, people say the form can go out the window, but there's nothing in recent run-ins of this fixture that suggests that's going to be the case either. Everton have failed to score in the last 3 head-to-heads with Liverpool, and Liverpool have won the last 2 by 2-0. They're still 100% at home, as you said, this season, 5 from 5 if you include the cup games, and they've won every single one of them by 2 goals or more. Everton's away form's all right, isn't it? 4 games unbeaten now, 3 wins and a draw in all competitions. And as I say, Darwin and Diaz might be back a bit late. See how that affects them. Early fixture, so you're always a little bit tentative. But I can't get away from Liverpool. Yeah, they've won the last 2 head-to-heads by 2 or more as well. As I say, they've won all of their home games by 2 or more this season. So I'm going to have Liverpool to win by 2 or more. Liverpool minus 1.5 on the handicap at 5-6, minus 120 for me.
Yeah, I thought I saw even money bars about that in my notes. Maybe
I'll take evens then.
Being affected by the line movement as well. But I looked at the angle of it's a local derby, anything can happen, and that's just not true. There was no evidence for that, particularly with Everton. Liverpool have just kind of held them at arm's length, really. Jordan Pickford booking, Peter's putting out. So next up, the 3 o'clock kickoffs we will start with. It's Bournemouth against Wolves. Bournemouth are 13-10 plus 130. The draw is 23-10 plus 230, and Wolves are 2-1. Baz.
So this is one that jumped off the page for me, Malcolm. Before,
bear in mind you haven't got Wolves right for about 18 months.
Absolutely, that's a good caveat. Before we put the pick out, I do always get Wolves wrong.
I'll tell you if you're right or not.
Before looking at the odds, I looked at the fixture and thought Wolves have been playing well. Got a point against Villa. They beat Man City. Bournemouth still haven't won. They've not shown us anything at all to get excited about so far. So immediate lean towards Wolves. Open bet 365 and nearly fell off my chair. 2-1 Wolves. 2-1's too big, Malcolm. Far too big. This was the easiest pick on the card for me. It's a bit of a grudge match as well for O'Neill, having been given the bullet by Bournemouth.
Oh, yeah.
Keeping them up last season. Another little angle. Might not play into things, but regardless. 2-1 is just a really, really attractive price for Wolves here. So that was where I started. I double-checked the form lines. Look, see if anything changed my mind. Bournemouth have conceded 10 in the last 3 league games. They scored just 1. Wolves have only failed to score in 1 game this season. That was the Man United game on the first weekend. So more ticks in the box for Wolves. So really, really simple one, Mal. Wolves on the money line at 2-1. Looks a really, really good pick. So that's where I'm going. As I say, easiest pick of the week. It doesn't mean it's the most likely of my picks to win. I just think at 2-1, it's just far too good a price.
Don't underestimate the revenge angle, Baz. The Americans love that. When we do the baseball show or anything, it's pitcher revenge angle, batter revenge angle, groundskeeper Willie revenge angle. Like the revenge angle, they never shut up about it. So they love a bit of that. Nice pandering. Yeah, Bournemouth, I've got the feeling, might be absolutely shite, Baz. Drawn 3, lost 5. The terrible form, that 3-0 defeat at Everton last time is horrible. They've lost the last 3 games by an aggregate of 10-1. The prices were the wrong way around, Baz. You absolutely beat me to it. The prices are 100% the wrong way around. Bournemouth will have to show a remarkable uptick in form to get a result here. Totally with you. Team ride. Wolves win at 2-1. And I think the chat pretty much agrees with us as well. Okay, Barry, you ready for round one of Premier League footballer or Member of Parliament?
Yes, ready. Let's go.
Okay, right. I've got 5 here, Baz. So all these footballers are listed on FPL, so they're in the game. So that they're not like come from the under 13s or whatever. Right. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do, Baz. You give us a number 1 to 5. Which one do you want first?
I'll go with 4, please.
Number 4, Barry, is Jake Berry. Is he a Premier League footballer or a Member of Parliament?
The thing is, I might not know many of the footballers, but I'm pretty good on Members of Parliament, Malcolm.
Are you? Why?
I'm quite politically aware,
No,
Jake Berry Jake Berry is very definitely a member of the Conservative Party. He was a Conservative Party chairman under Boris Johnson. So I could even tell you what his title was. Jake Berry is a member of Parliament.
Well, I can't tell you how furious I am about that, Baz. You've totally ruined my game here. Yeah, Sir Jake Berry, Baz, is the Tory MP for Rossendale and Darwin. Wanker. 1-0 to you. All right. Of all the things, I guess Frog, and then it turns out you're a Member of Parliament. I would not have known that about you in a million years. We'll see how you get on with the rest anyway. Carry on the 3 o'clocks. Brentford take on Burnley. Brentford are 3 to 4, minus 133. The draw is at 13 to 5 plus 260. Burnley are 7 to 2 plus 350. I struggle with Brentford a little bit, Baz. They're not quite as bad as you and Wolves, but they're up there. They've only won once, and they're now 6 games without a win. Even though they still kind of do all right, everyone thinks they're quite good. They were 1-0 up at Man United till about 5 2 Saturdays ago when McTominay scored twice. I just can't take them. The home games, that's who Everton beat. You see, home games, they lost 3-1 v Everton, 2-2 with Bournemouth, and 1-1 v Palace. It's not good form line, Baz, really. The problem is, you can't take Burnley. Like any other opposition, really, you'd like to take. But Burnley don't look capable of winning games. They beat Luton. Does it count? Not really. They have had a tough start. This is the one thing I'll give Burnley. 6 of their 8 opponents, Baz, will be top half teams. Maybe even 7 if you count Forest. If Forest get in there. So it's games like this. Now, they're obviously at some point going to get an easier run of fixtures, and that starts now. So if they are going to be competitive, and at the start of the year we thought they might be all right, this is where it's games like this where they're going to have to do it. So I can't take Brentford. I don't want to take Burnley. I'm happy to take the drawback at plus 260. And on top of that, Barry, I'm also very happy at 13 to 2.
It's Malcolm's $1 week. Both teams scored a goal.
It's the 1-1 draw of the week, Barry. Both teams will score a goal. 13 to 2 plus 650 for the ones each. And I hope Pat managed to hear his jingle live. It's my favourite thing. What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Similar thoughts. Hard to pick a side in this one. A couple of bets in the chat. Mafia will reunite. Fancies Burnley win and both teams to score. Me and him are on the same wavelength on all of these games so far. And Andrew Marquez also likes the Burnley win. Form line's grim for Brentford, innit? No win inside 90 minutes in the last 8 competitive games. They've lost 3 of the last 4 league games and still just 1 win all season. It's not much better for Burnley. Green shoots a recovery with a win against Luton. That was short-lived. 4-1 defeat to Chelsea. Anyone conceding 4 against Chelsea is in trouble. So I want nothing to do with Brentford at such a short price.
Yeah.
Even against Burnley. You just can't take them at that price. In the current form, Brentford's price is ridiculous. Burnley, I wasn't far off. They weren't far off being the sort of price where I would think, right, I'll take a chance on that. But I just wanted it to be a bit higher, so I didn't quite get to the point where I thought, yeah, let's have a go on Burnley. I feel like despite both teams struggling, they do seem to be getting on the score sheet more often than not. 16 games these two have played between them, and only 1 clean sheet in across those 16 games. So Burnley have conceded in every single game. Brentford have conceded an all but one. And both teams to score, therefore, looks good for me. It's hitting 5 of 8 for Burnley. It's hitting 6 of 8 for Brentford. And it's close enough evens here to have some appeal for me. So the pick for me, Brentford v Burnley, is both teams to score at 4-5, -125.
Okay. Forgot to write your picks down here, Baz, but I'll try and catch up. Bayou Funk lurking in the chat until the music came on, having a bit of dance instead. Right, the next game, Baz. I'm pleased you're handicapping this one first, because this is absolute mayhem. Manchester City take on Brighton and Hove Albion. Man City are 9-25, -277. The draw's at 9-2, +450. Brighton are at 6-1. What have you got, Baz? Could be anything.
Yeah, it is hard to know where to go with this. 8 league games now for Brighton where they've gone over 3.5 goals in every single one, and both teams to score in every single one. Astonishing, really, to have such a run now. 8 games to keep hitting over 3.5 is ridiculous. And in a game where City, where we're used to, getting involved in goals bets, it's understandable that the price for goals here is going to be short. City lost back-to-back league games, first time in over a year.
Yeah.
Lost to Wolves and then Arsenal. Both of them came away from home, though the home form still without a blemish. They've won every single game this calendar year at home. I think you have to go back to November 2022 for the last home defeat, Malcolm. So that's almost a full 12 months. Around half of those victories included over 3.5 goals as well. Over 3.5 here is 10-11. I'll be honest, I toyed with going with the unders and possibly under 2.5 just because the price is getting so big here. Brighton games can't keep going over 3.5 every single game. It just can't happen. It's over 2-1 for under 2.5. City winning this 2-0 wouldn't be a massive surprise, and that would land that bet. And 3 of the last 6 head-to-heads at the Etihad have had 2 goals or less. So there's potentially a bit of value there. But it wasn't where I went. No fun going unders in this game. I've left that alone. Brighton still don't have a clean sheet. They've conceded 16. Only the bottom 3 teams in the league have conceded more than them. And they've conceded 10 in the last 3 games alone. I think this could be the perfect tonic for Man City. Rodri is back, which should make a difference. They've lost 3 games, including the cup game to Newcastle, whilst Rodri's been away. This Brighton defence are going to give everyone opportunities, and I think City will take them again and again and again. City to score 3 or more is available at evens. The last 2 head-to-heads with City at home at the Etihad, 3-1 City, 3-0 City. So the pick for me is Man City, Brighton. City team total over 2.5 at evens for me, please.
I toyed with loads of ways of being cute here, Baz. And I don't need to be. I don't think you need to be. You said Brighton can't keep doing it. And I think they can. I mean, we're talking about the league games here. I even watched the Marseille game last week, Baz, and it finished 2-2. And it was fucking nuts, And they're absolutely insane. I mean, the totals in the games, the 8 league games, 4-7, 4-4, 4-4, 5-5. They've only played 3 away games because they had that one called off at Luton, and they've scored 8 goals in them. Man City have only kept 1 clean sheet in 6. You don't need to be cute. I've got over 3.5 at even money, Baz. Or over 1.5 first half goals is even money as well. So if you want an even money shot, take either or. The official play. Sorry?
What was your first one you mentioned there?
Over 3.5 goals.
Over 3.5, yeah.
Yeah. You said 10-11. Might have moved. I saw it even money when I handicapped this yesterday. I just didn't need to be any cuter, Baz. This is the sort of thing where at 4:20, when it's 5-2 to Man City, you'll be absolutely kicking yourself. It's like whenever you've taken the unders on Tyreek Hill and then watching him run around like a madman on red zone and you think you're an idiot. That's what this is. This will finish 5-2. And you'll just think, why didn't I just take even money on that? So that is what I'm going to do. Right, Barry. Round 2 turns out for Barry's specialist fucking subject of Premier League footballer or Member of Parliament. Right, you've had number 4, Baz. Do you want 1, 2, 3 or 5?
Number 1, please.
Number 1, Barry, is Femi Siriki.
Femi Siriki.
Femi Siriki.
How we're spelling the surname? There's a Femi who's a political commentator.
Seriki.
That's got to be a footballer.
Femi Siriki, Barry, plays for Sheffield United. Bastard. 2-0.
There's a Femi who goes on the telly. He's like a political commentator, but he's definitely not stood for Parliament. The only ones I'd struggle with, like the Scottish National Party MPs, I wouldn't be good on. So,
hold on to your hat, Barry, because I'm not out of it yet. I might come back and complete a famous 3-2 win. 3 o'clock kickoff is a game I will not be going to because I've got to work on Saturday night. I've got to go to Barnard-Castle, Baz. Isn't that where matey went to check his eyeballs during COVID?
Yeah, Cummins.
Yeah. So I'll go and check my vision in Barnard-Castle on Saturday night. Newcastle take on Crystal Palace. Newcastle are 9-25. No, they're not. That's Manchester City. Newcastle are 9-20, minus 222. The draw is 16-5, plus 320. Crystal Palace are 6-1. Newcastle drew 2 at West Ham last time out after smashing those lazy French Gets 4-1 at St James's Park. I thought they played well. I thought it was quite a bad spot for us, having the emotional and physical involvement that they had in that PSG game. We were better than West Ham for the majority of the game. Finished 2-2. I am 0-8 so far on my Newcastle Prem picks, Baz. Absolutely not even close as well. Like 0-8, comfortable 0-8. So whatever I pick here, write the opposite thing down, everybody. I'm going to have to start admitting, Barry, that Newcastle are good. And I don't like to do that because I feel like jinxing them. Botman, I think, will be back, hopefully. Isaac will be back. Tonali, we haven't talked about. I'm not really that interested. He's a question mark due to the old betting shenanigans. But Newcastle have already put 5 past Villa, 8 past Sheffield United, 4 past PSG. Palace are doing okay, but they're not very good, are they? They beat Man United. That doesn't count. That counts about as much as beating Luton. The last 3 games have finished 0-0, 1-0, and 0-0. They're missing Eze. But Newcastle are considerably better than Crystal Palace. We win 2-0. Newcastle minus 1.5 is 5-4, plus 125, Barry.
Matthew Will Unite in the chat has minus 1.5 Newcastle. Similar to you, I'm getting more and more confident about Newcastle. And I don't like it. And I still come into making me picks for Newcastle very tentatively. Newcastle now unbeaten in 7. Haven't got the season off to a bad start. Just 3 goals conceded in those 7 games. Hopefully, as you say, should welcome back Botman, Joe Linton. Gordon comes back from suspension. And I think the international break just came at the right time for Newcastle. We had a few injuries, small injuries where, should be back fresh now. We've mentioned before how Palace are just a very middle-of-the-road team. You look at any 3-game stretch from Palace and you will see win 1, draw 1, lose 1. The form this season is win, lose, draw, win, lose, draw, win, draw. So the next one is lose. So just to even it out, 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. Surely they'll keep the balance going. That's just typical Palace form. Very similar last season. Record was win 11, draw 12, loss 15. Finished right bang in the mid-table, 11th place. As I say, I think the break come at a good time for Newcastle. I'm confident Newcastle will pull off a win in this one, but 1-2, how do we play it? I've said before, Palace have a knack of staying in games. That's the only thing that concerns me a bit. Only Villa have beaten them by more than a single goal this season. Defensively, Palace are solid, conceded 7 goals in their 8 games, but they've only scored 7 as well. And in the chat, someone's alluded to it already. Last 3 games have all finished 0-0 in 90 minutes in these head-to-heads. And it's astonishing. If you go back further, in the last 14 head-to-heads between Newcastle and Palace, only 1 single game has gone over 2.5 goals. There've been 4 0-0s. There've been 6 1-0s. There's been a 2-0. So 11 of the 14 games have featured a clean sheet. and therefore both teams to score no is a reasonable angle. But I don't see Newcastle not scoring here. Under 2.5 looks a really good play for that reason, because the form between the teams leans that way. But I can't be backing unders in a game where Newcastle have just put 4 past PSG, 8 past Sheff United, 5 past Villa. I struggled with the handicap. You've gone there, and I don't mind it. I fancy Newcastle to win comfortably, but the Palace defence is just it's playing on my mind. And similar with team totals. So where I've went, rather than betting against the Palace defence, I'm betting against their attack. So I'm going to take Newcastle to win and to win to 0. So Palace can keep it tight, and I get a winner with a 1-0 win or a 2-0 win, which is par for the course in these fixtures. Or if we have one of those games where Newcastle put up the 4s or 5s like we're capable of doing, I can still win me bet as long as Palace don't score. And they've been shut out often enough this season. They've only scored 7 goals. So Newcastle plus price 11-8 to win to 0, plus 137. Newcastle win to 0 is the pick for me here.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, that historical data is all right, but that was a different. I mean, we did score past them last year, and the VAR absolutely changed. The 0-0 at their place was when we were in that little run of games where we drew 0-0 about 9 times in a row. And then before that, you're talking about the Steve Bruce 2 seasons where we never tried to score for months on end. Like, so, but I think you're absolutely right, Baz. And Palace do hang around. I mean, they kept a clean sheet at Old Trafford last time out. So, yeah. Okay, next up. Oh, I'm going to talk about game time next, actually. Helping you get tickets. Shouldn't be stressful. Game time is the place to get tickets for sports, music, comedy, any theatre near you. You've got killer deals on last-minute tickets. All sorts of stuff going on. MLB playoffs around the corner. I know there's some happy price tickets going for Arizona tomorrow night. So if you get on the game time app, Arizona 2-0 down against Philly. About $24 those tickets are on game time. So get across and have a look. The game time guarantee means if you find a ticket cheaper in the same section, they will refund you 110% of the difference. So the thing to do is download the game time app, create an account, use the code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Download game time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And finally, Hall of Fame bets, helping you win bigger this NFL season. It's a sports betting analytics platform. It's got NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer. And the thing to do here is use the Parlay Optimizer on Hall of Fame bet. You'll get things like hit rates broken down by leg, expected probabilities, sort players by hit rate, the best value for the players you've got in there. Really great tool. Over 30,000 people using it, crafting more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hufbets.com. Use the code SGPN to get 50% off your first month. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. Next up, we're still on the 3 o'clocks, the final one on Saturday. Nottingham Forest take on Luton Town. Forest are 11-18, minus 164. The draw is 13-5, plus 260. And Luton are 9-2, plus 450. Barry, your hometown Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, before I jump into that, I'm just going to comment on Pat's comment in the chat. He's asked about the corners ladder for Newcastle. I haven't gone there this season, or I might have done early in the season as a bit of a follow-on from last season's form. But not feeling it at all this year. It's not been as fluent, so I've kept away from it until I see a bit of a change. The average corner totals in Newcastle games this year is less than 8 per game. That's total, not just Newcastle corners. Last year, Newcastle were hitting 9s and 10s themselves every week. They've had one game that's went over 6 this season, Newcastle in 8. They're averaging around about just under 5, I think, a game. So corner ladders for Newcastle were absolute gold last year. Not quite this year. It might change. But at the moment, I'm keeping my powder dry on that one. So that answers that question. Forest Luton. Forest got off the boil a bit lately. They've turned into draw specialists a little bit. No win in 4. They lost to Man City and then drew with Brentford, Palace and Burnley. So not the best of sides either. They're struggling to score. They had a 1-year missing last game, but he'd also failed to score in the 3 prior to that anyway. and they've only scored 3 in the last 6 in all competitions. Luton City are 4 points. The win coming against Everton, and they started the season with 3-goal defeats to Chelsea and Brighton. But since then, they've not lost by a single goal, by more than a single goal in any of the games since. So, again, another team who are keeping it tight. And with Forest having scored 2 goals in a game just twice this season, I think it's hard to see Forest having this all their own way. Unders is definitely in play. Forest's last 6 have all went under 2.5. 4 of the last 6 for Luton have gone under 2.5, and you can get under 2.5 goals at 4-5, minus 125. What I wanted here was a slightly higher price on Luton. If Luton were just a little bit higher, I'd have been tempted to take them as a pick. But what I was looking for, I was wanting to come in and say Luton -1 on the Asian handicap at close to evens. It's closer to about 8-11, -140, and it's just a little bit. 140 is about the extremities of how far we go on this show. So I'm torn. I think Luton can get something here. Double chance Luton, 23-20, plus 115. Toyed with it. I was so close, but I'm decided to just stick with the unders. I think unders has got really good form behind it. Under 2.5 goals, Forest Luton at 4-5, -125.
Yeah, team right, Baz. Completely agree with you. A couple of reasons. Say Forrest off the boil. One he's missing again. Looks like it's going to be Chris Wood, who's not particularly prolific. Luton hung about with Tottenham last time, particularly after Tottenham had a man sent off. Spurs could have battered them, man. They should have been 3-0 up inside 7 minutes. I was sitting here furious with Tottenham, trying to get off to it early in the early kickoff, trying to get a winner over the line. And what got me, Baz, was a really obvious lack of quality from Luton. They were rubbish. And I'm talking about basic control, passing, just they look like a bottom half of the table championship team. Organised and can defend, but have got a proper lack of quality. I don't think they can. They could score a set piece, maybe. They're going to defend hard. Forest will win 1 or 2-0, I think. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm with Mafia in the chat. Under 2.5 goals is the bet. 4-5, -125. Right, Baz. 2, 3, or 5.
Oh, what about that? 2.
I mean, you could wrap it up here, Baz. I want to know, Barry, Premier League footballer or Member of Parliament, Sean Bailey.
Sean Bailey, he's not a Member of Parliament. He was a Conservative candidate for London Mayor, but I'm certain he can't be. He can't be Mayor and Member of Parliament. Sean Bailey has to be a footballer.
Fuck, I'm back in the game, Barry. I'm back in it. Sean Bailey is a Member of Parliament for West Bromwich West, Baz. This is all today's info as well, came off the membersofparliament.gov.uk or something. 2-1, Barry. I'm back in it. I'm live.
I have to Google that one. I'm furious.
Don't Google it now. Listen, it's my quiz. My answers. The quizmaster's always right. That's the rule. I'm going to cross between
different Sean Bailey. There's more than
right, sorry.
Oh, you didn't spell it. Oh, man. There's Sean with an S-H, who was the London Mayor candidate, and there's a Sean Bailey, S-E-A-N. That's where you've thrown us.
I don't care where I've thrown you, Baz. What I care about is I'm back in the game.
Controversial.
Big time on Saturday. More derbies. Chelsea against Arsenal. Chelsea are 21-10. The draw is 23-10 plus 230. Arsenal 13-10 plus 130. Have Chelsea turned the corner? Question mark is what I've written down. Back-to-back wins, but at Burnley and Fulham. So it doesn't tell you much. But they were the sort of games that weren't beating anyone. So the fact that they've won some games, I think, shows some progress. I do think the level of performance has been better, though. They've kind of deserved those wins. They actually humped Burnley 4-1 and really kept Fulham at arm's length. 2 goals in a minute and just played the game out. 4 home games, the only win has come against Luton Town, which we've already decided doesn't count this episode. So, yeah, interesting stuff from Chelsea. Arsenal 1-6 drawn 2. Obviously, will be buzzing, having beaten Manchester City. They really did get that monkey off their back. In their 3 away games, they've kept 3 clean sheets. A couple of injuries. Saka and Saliba are both 50%. I think that's going to be important. You could make a case for Chelsea here, but I just want, like you just said about Luton, actually, Baz, and maybe want a bit of a bigger price for Chelsea. 5-2, 11-4, something like that. Not going to get one. I think we're going to see goals, Barry. As much as I've just said, Arsenal have kept 3 away clean sheets. Chelsea are going to have a right go at this as well. They really need to lay a marker down under Pochettino. They haven't done it yet. They need a red letter day. They need to get some momentum going. They'll have a right good go at this. And Arsenal are a good side. Like Arsenal are going to go anywhere and compete. Over 2.5 goals, Baz, is 9-10, -111.
Yeah, so this is another one where I knew what I wanted to see before I opened the odds up. And for that, for me, it was anything over evens for Arsenal, +100, and I think they're a pick here. So 13-10, +130 makes it straightforward for me. Although Chelsea have won the last 2, 3 if you include the AFL Cup game, I'm still not hugely convinced by them. The 3 wins in the league have come against Burnley, Luton and Fulham. Struggled against the rest. And Arsenal are just in great form, still unbeaten, 6 wins from 8. Beat Man City last time out. And the whole mood around the place is very positive. Everyone's pulling in the same direction. Saka's been carrying a knock. He's been well rested over the international break. And I just think Arsenal are the better side, in better form. And I think 13-10 is a very backable price for Arsenal. So I kept this one really simple. I was happy with the price I seen for Arsenal. I think Arsenal will win. So Arsenal to beat Chelsea 13-10, +130.
Okay, Saturday night, we've got some night football here. 8 o'clock kickoff local time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Sheffield United take on Manchester United. Sheffield United are 6-1. The draw is 4-1. Manchester United are 2-5, -250, Barry. This is another one, actually, I'm pleased you're good with. I hated handicapping this game. I had no idea what to pick. I could not find a pick, Barry, for the life of me. I've got one, but I hate it.
I've got one, but it's totally off script, totally out of the ordinary, not the usual markets we look at, because I, like you, can't be having any of this. I still don't want Man United at odds on.
No.
Absolutely no chance at a price of 2-5. I wouldn't back them against anyone at 2-5, away from home in particular. It's absolutely bonkers, that price. I mean, if you put Man United up here at 4-6, would you have picked them?
No.
-150. What price would they get to before you considered them away from home against anyone? I wasn't sure. I just thought they could be quite a bit shorter, and I still wouldn't be thinking Man U are a pick here. I'll just take Man U on the money line. At the same time, it's impossible to make a case for Sheffield United winning it. They've still got just the 1 point from the Everton game. They've scored just 6, conceded 22. And I can't see this being the game where suddenly Sheffield United get their first win of the season. I'd enjoy it if it was that kind of game, of course. So I do think Man United will win. But I won't back them to win because it's too short. And if it's too short, then the handicaps become too short as well. So none of the main markets have really appealed to me at all. So I've gone with a scorer pick. I've bottled it completely. Højlund has been a real positive in a world of negativity for Man United in recent weeks. He's 7-5, +140 to score any time. Sheffield United are shipping goals, 22 goals in 8 games. I've completely bottled it and gone for a scorer pick, Malcolm. Rasmus Højlund, anytime, 7-5, +140.
That's fair enough, Baz. I bottled it as well. I took Højlund last week, though, and they did lose 1-0 at home to Palace after he scored. Who did he score against? I thought that might liven him up.
You could enjoy that loser, though, couldn't you?
Yeah, it was all right. He got a bit injured this week, Baz, Højlund. I just you're aware of that.
The San Marino people, didn't he?
Is he going to be all right? So
I think he's okay, yeah.
Sheffield United's form, it wasn't great to start with, but it's completely gone to shit. 3-1 at Fulham's poor. They were uncompetitive at West Ham, lost 8-0 to Newcastle. Man United remain cack. They've won 4 and lost 4. Those 4 wins, Barry, thinking back. Brentford, they were 1-0 down at 5-5 and somehow won 2-1. Wolves, they've got no business winning that game. The officials handed it to them. Burnley, they got battered. And who's the other game they won? So they've won one of them. I can't remember, but I have written down all 4 were incredibly lucky. We saw a comparison game here a couple of weeks ago. Burnley took on Man United in a Saturday night football. But even then, the result doesn't tell. Man U won 1-0, but that doesn't reflect how the game went at all. So there's nothing you can do with it. I wanted to fade both teams, which is really, really hard to do. What will happen here, Baz, is Man United will win this game in some sort of fortunate fashion. Like they'll come from behind and win 2-1 or something. Initially, I've got it written down in big letters, but it's actually scribbled out. Is Sheffield United to score first at 5-2 plus 250? Because Burnley should have done, and they'll come back and win it. What I've gone with, and this is going to be 10th on my list of shit to bet. Man United to win with over 2 goals, which is 5-6 minus 120. So that takes in the 2-1 Man United win, or Man United could stuff them. They might win. They might beat them 3-0. So yeah, I don't like this even a little bit. Barry, you have got number 3 and number 5 left. You're 2-1 up.
Still reeling after the last one. It's a swizz. What's the next one? Number 5.
Right, okay. Number 5, Barry, is Mickey Brady.
Brady. That's not an MP name, is it? Graham Brady.
I can't believe you actually know any MPs. I could name one.
Mickey. This is where he could be a Scottish or an Irish or something. Well, Brady. I wouldn't know the Scottish MPs as well, and I wouldn't know the odd dozen from Ireland. And I don't know Mickey Brady football. I'm going to go MP.
Bollocks. Mickey Brady, Barry, is a Sinn Féin member of Parliament from Northern Ireland. You've fortunately gone 3-1 up there.
That was a guess, because I haven't heard of him as an MP. But the Irish
I think you definitely know the next one. Now I know that you know stuff. You're definitely going to know this next one, mate. One game on Sunday. Don't know why there's only one game. Aston Villa take on West Ham at 4:30, which is 11:30 Eastern. Villa 9-10 minus 111. The draw is 13-5 plus 260. West Ham are 14-5 plus 280. Villa have pulled their way through into 5th place in the league. There's no real pattern in both teams to score or over under 2.5, but they are playing well. And they've got some good players. West Ham in really good form as well. Much better than I thought they'd be. They were okay against Newcastle, but I wasn't that impressed. They are a mid-table team. Their only 2 defeats have come against Liverpool and Manchester City, so they're very capable of competing. West Ham have gone both teams to score in 7 of their 8 games. The only team they haven't is Sheffield. Sheffield United failed to score. Really easy, Baz. You had one of these earlier on. Villa are better than West Ham. And Villa are at home. 9-10. 9's a perfectly fair price, Baz. I'll take Villa outright on the money line. In fact, I've said that Andrew Marquez has chirped up with exactly the same pick. Villa at home, close to evens is easy. Same handicap, Andrew, same pick. Yeah. What do you think, Baz?
I like it. It's not where I've gone, but I don't mind it at all, particularly because of that home form. I think it's an intriguing game. 2 teams in good form, sitting 5th and 7th. Both have lost 2 games. West Ham have lost to City and Liverpool, and Villa have lost to Newcastle and Liverpool. So both of them have only lost games against top sides, City, Liverpool, and Newcastle. Very, very top sides. Really hard. I thought my initial look, it was difficult to take a side. I would lean towards Villa, and the one thing that pushes me that way is their home form. They've still not dropped a single point in the league at home since Arsenal beat them back in February.
Nice stats.
They've only played 3 at home this season, but they've won them by an aggregate of 13-2. Obviously, a 6-1 against Brighton skews that significantly. But I think it was a 3-0 and a 4-1 the other two games. So convincing wins when they are at home. 7 of 8 Villa games have gone over 2.5. 6 of 8 for West Ham. Overs on its own is a little bit short though, so I can tag on both teams to score here, get me closer to evens. So that's where I've gone. West Ham have only kept one clean sheet all season, but they've also scored in every game. I like over 2.5, but I also think both teams will get involved to hit that 2.5. So the pick for me here was Villa West Ham, both teams to score, and over 2.5 goals at 5-6, minus 120. But I don't mind your pick at all. I don't mind Villa here. I think the home form is what definitely pushes it in that direction. But West Ham are in good form, so I just felt like keeping both teams on side, and I like the goals angle as well. So.
Final game is the Monday night game. We've normally handicapped this on a Sunday night, which probably will again, actually. But on the grounds we're here, we'll do it now. Tottenham 1-2, minus 200. 7-2 is the draw. Fulham on the road are 5-1 underdogs. Barry, London Derby Monday night. Spurs.
Spurs. Are you saying Spurs is your pick?
No, I'm asking you. It's your turn.
All right. I thought you were asking me straight out for me if I think Spurs are going to win. Fulham, another team who can only pick up the points against the strugglers. They've beaten Sheff Utd, beaten Luton, beaten Everton. But then the defeats have all come by bigger deficits. I think they've lost 3 games by a combined 9-goal deficit. Spurs are still 100% at home. They've still scored 2 in every game. Obviously, that record just crept on in the Liverpool game with that late own goal. I actually thought Spurs...
Luton 1-0. Did they score?
2-1, wasn't it?
Luton?
Wasn't it? Was it 1-0?
Nah, 1-0. Yeah.
You're right, aren't you?
Oh, I'm right, Baz.
It's bad. That's bad form, that, isn't it?
Who Tottenham all for you? Yeah, it's the first. It's the first time in my handicap, Baz. Sorry?
Tottenham was 2-1.
Was it?
Yeah. Son scored, Gakpo equalised, and then Matip put it in his own net. So yeah, pipe down, Malcolm. My form, my research is absolutely fine. So you might want to scribble out the top line on your thing there. So yeah, they have continued to score. They've continued. Yeah?
For Luton?
What are you talking about?
Didn't Tottenham beat Luton 1-0?
Oh, I'm looking
when Basuma got sent off.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Liverpool game. Sorry.
Fucking hell, Barry. I mean, you can't stop being wrong.
Anyway, moving on.
Fucking moving on. Kid hell. Go on
Shambles.
then.
Absolute shambles. Yeah, so they had scored 2 in every game, Malcolm, up until they played Luton. We won 1-0.
I remember that.
Very unfortunate not to have got 2 goals in that game, but they didn't. I actually thought Spurs here were a better price than I expected. They're 1-2, minus 200. Definitely one for any accumulators for me. Obviously not as an outright pick, far too short for this show. And because they're a better price than I expected, I can get a decent handicap line for them. -1 on the Asian handicap is 5-6, or minus 120. It gives me a little bit of a safety net, as they've only won by 2 or more. Well, they haven't recently. In any of the last 4, they haven't won by 2 or more, I should say. But they are another club where, you know, the mood around the place is all positive. They've got momentum on their side. I think Spurs will win it. The pick is -1 on the Asian handicap. I think they should win by 2. But they aren't blowing anyone away, despite being very efficient and having all the momentum. So I've just got that little safety net. If they win by 1, I'll get my money back. So yeah, pick Spurs v Fulham, -1. Spurs on the Asian handicap, 5-6, -120.
Yeah, no safety net for me, Baz. I took the extra half a goal. Tottenham -1.5. I think I've got a feeling Fulham are shite. I did mark down those 3 wins, came against the bad teams. Home defeat against Chelsea, they were poor. They got humped at City. And there's nothing fluky about what Spurs are doing at all. Yeah, they might run into a dodgy patch at some point, but they don't look like it at the minute. They've got loads of goals in them. They should have scored more than that one at Luton. Tottenham -1.5, 5-4. And I do think they'll batter them. The Tottenham team total over 2.5 is 11-8, plus 137. I think they've got 3 goals in them. They'll make up for only getting the 2 at Luton. So yeah, Tottenham -1.5 is the main pick. 5-4 +125. Right, we'll get on to all the fancy stuff. Barsford, you put me to bed, Barry, with the final Premier League or MP. Is George Shelvey? This is worth 2 points, Barry. So if I get this, it's a draw.
It's not worth
my game. I've got it written down. Yeah, 2 points for the last one.
Again, it's not what I've heard of. We've had 3 MPs and only 1 footballer, haven't we?
Oh, you pay the numbers, though.
Yeah.
Cynical, that, Barry. Cynical ploy.
I'm going to have to go. Oh, man. I don't like it. I haven't got a clue. He's a footballer.
What's your guess?
I'm going to go footballer.
George Shelvey is a goalkeeper for Nottingham Forest, Barry, apparently. All right, so you win 5-1. Well done. I ran into your specialist subject. That's as unlikely as the frog incident you knowing about MPs. It's ridiculous, that.
So,
have a proper hobby.
So they had double Shelvey last year.
We had double Shelvey last year, yeah.
Oh, unbelievable.
Double bubble on the Shelvey. Right, okay. Fancy stuff, Barry. Goal scorers. I'm heading back to Newcastle again. I never do it. Callum Wilson, 100-30, first and last. 6-5 +120 anytime. Well rested. Had some photos of him looking red hot on Twitter this week. Isak will probably be fit, but I just think I think it's Wilson's turn to start. We play Dortmund next week as well, don't we? Yeah. So I think they'll keep Isak back for that. So Wilson's going to start, and I do think we'll beat them. Underdog of the play was a no-brainer, Barry. We both landed on it immediately. The majority of the chat landed on it immediately. Wolves at 2-1. Incredible price. And I'm going to continue the red card parlay because I was absolutely quite aggressively bummed on it last time by Michael Oliver of all people. So I'm going for, Barry. First up, it's a double Saturday night one. Chelsea v Arsenal, London Derby. A lot of enthusiasm, little bit Raj, dark, floodlights, all of that malarkey. And Chelsea trying to lay down a marker. A red card in that one is 4-1. And then straight after that, we get Sheffield United, Man United. There's a whole host of clumsy fuckers on display in this game. Pick any of them. I'm guessing, is Casemiro suspended? He's always suspended, isn't he? Anyway, any of those clumsy fuckers on either side will get sent off. The double pays 27-1, Barry. It's 9-2 in the Sheffield United game. So that's the red card parlay. What you got?
Scorer pick for me. It's where I went earlier. I'm sticking with Rasmus Højlund. His 9-2 first goal. 7-5 anytime. So Rasmus Højlund is the scorer for me. I did like Wilson as well. I agree with you. I think he'll start. Keep Isak fresh. Isak didn't go for the international break. Had a little bit of a knock. So I think they'll keep him fresh for Dortmund. So Wilson's a good one. I like that. But yeah, pick for me is Rasmus Højlund anytime or first time at 9-2. Underdog play of the week has to be Wolves at 2-1. Exactly as you said. And the treble for me, I've got a 3-day parlay, Amalgam.
Oh, nice.
If you put me a Friday night or a Monday night game in, I'll find a 3-day parlay to keep us going. Wolves, chuck them in my parlay. They're such a good bet, such a good price. Arsenal and Spurs to finish up on the Monday.
Okay.
Over 9-1, plus 9.35. So a decent price treble. If we can get it off to a flyer with Wolves, got a real life chance. So yeah, the treble for me, Wolves, Arsenal, Spurs, just over 9-1.
I'm going to round up the picks here, Baz, because we threw out a baseball winning play last time live and one of your mates backed it. Houston take on Texas in game 3. Starts at 3 minutes past 1 in the morning, so in about 3 hours' time. So basically, this is for anyone who's listening live. And it's Max Scherzer to give up over 1.5 earned runs. So you need to go to the game, go to the player props, and go to the pitcher earned runs. Max Scherzer plus 1.5 is even money. He's been dodgy all season, but he's coming back off a monthly off. Even if he pitches well, he can give up 2. But I think he's going to be a little bit dodgy and give up more. So max share. So there you go. Anything else, Baz? Nice solid hour and 5 minutes. Nice to get back into the Prem.
Yeah, good stuff. Not much else for me. I'm going to go and have a bit of cheese now, Malcolm.
Bit of cheese? I'll go and take a photo of that bean, just in case anyone asks for it in the Discord channel.
I was in the shop earlier on, and a bit of cheese caught my eye. I've got a nice vintage cheddar, something really strong, and a piece of Comté, a nice French Comté.
Oh, the old stinky French squishy one.
Yeah, it's it's quite firm, Comté.
Okay.
Bit of a favourite of mine, quite a nutty type of flavour. It's quite mild, but good little pair in there. So I'm going to go and have a bit of cheese to finish the night off.
I fucking love cheese, Baz. I love it. I love cheese more than I love life itself. I'm up there, very cheesy, man. Right, well done, everybody. Thank you for joining us. There was loads of names in the chat tonight. We very much appreciate it. Good luck with all your picks. We'll be back on Sunday night to pick over the bones of all this rubbish. And we've got the Champions League next week, so we'll fire out some winners in that. Thanks, everyone.
And I'm off to the Middle East next week, Malcolm.
What?
I'm off to the Middle East next week.
Oh, yeah. Is that wise, Barry? What, you want to...
know.
He's keeping Mitchell or what?
At this moment in time, my holiday is still on, but by next week, who knows what could have happened in the Middle East. I'm off to Egypt on Wednesday. So next week's midweek show might have to change. We might have to record it on Tuesday, possibly. But that's for after the show.
That's not nothing to do with the people. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to a wedding next weekend, so I probably can't do the Sunday night. We might as well get the entire production meeting done while there's still 5 people tuned into this rubbish. Right, we'll talk about this off air, but thanks, everyone. I'm going to remember to press the music button. Where's that? Right down here. Right, okay. See you later. We'll see you down the road. Cheers. Bye.